I sold cell phones, a cell phone service called VoiceStream Wireless, which became T-Mobile. And they fired me and hired Shakira because she is more relatable than I am. Anyway, I've now had in the last 8 years the kind of opportunities that I always hoped I would be able to have, but that I don't control. And the universe, the multiverse, excuse the pun, brought them to me.
I'm Rachel Martin, and this is Wild Card, the game where cards control the conversation. My guest this week is Jamie Lee Curtis. When I grow up, I want to be Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't mean I want to be a cultural icon with leading roles in some of the most important movies and shows of our time. Halloween, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, The Bear, and yes, True Lies. No, I want to be the Jamie Lee Curtis who, with each passing year, keeps expanding her creative life. Her newest movie is called Ella McCay, and I'm so very, very happy to welcome Jamie Lee Curtis to Wild Card. Hi, lady.
That's what it's called.
It's
Wild
called
Card.
Wild Card. First 3 cards. This is the memories round. I hold them up.
Yeah.
You pick randomly 1, 2, or 3.
Straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle. Number 2.
Yep.
Is there a meal from your childhood that brings back strong memories?
Cereal. All cereal.
Really?
Every brand of cereal. If you put me on a desert island and all I could have is cereal, I would be fine. Cereal.
What were the kinds of cereal?
Frosted Flakes, Cheerios, Captain Crunch,
Your
Fruit
parents let you
Loops.
have the sugar kind.
Well, duh. I mean, A, I'm from show business. B, my parents were drug addict alcoholics. And C, in the day, that's what they fed children. Right? That's what we fed our children.
Right.
Either that or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I mean old school, like white bread, Jiffy and
I still make that for
Schmuckers.
my children for lunch, so I still live
You know what?
another time.
I will tell you, I've been married 41 years. The only meal Christopher Guest knows how to make
Peanut butter and jelly.
is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And there have been a couple times where he has presented me with a PB&J.
Oh, I love
And
that.
that is our love language is PB&J.
So he doesn't pour you when you've had a hard day, you come home, you don't drink wine. Does he pour you a nice bowl of cereal?
I'm a granola fan.
Okay. You've stepped up your cereal game, Jamie.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to evolve as a human
We all
being.
need to change.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's it.
I'm a cereal girl.
1, 2, or 3.
I thought we already did 2.
So these are 3.
You added cards?
No. There are 3 new cards that I just pick up
this is
out
a whole
of
new
the
category.
deck of No. Same memories. It's just 3 new cards. Just let it wash over you.
I'm
let it wash.
going so with this right now. I'm so in the zone. I'm going down the middle again too. 2 is my lucky number. My birthday is 11/22.
Is
2
that
has
right?
always been so 2 has always been a number for me. So
Oh.
go on, continue. Number 2. I'm ready. Here I go. Memories.
What's something early in life that made you appreciate beauty?
My mother. My mother. I wrote, I'm never going to write a book, but I write books for children, but I'll never write a memoir. But I did, I wrote, when magazines used to exist, there was a magazine called More Magazine. Originally, it was a magazine for women over 50. Then they took that part away, and then they took the magazine away. But I wrote an appreciation after my mother died. I wrote an appreciation of her called Bye Bye Beauty.
This is Janet Leigh. We should just say Janet Leigh.
This is Janet Leigh, and she starred in the movie Bye Bye Birdie.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote an appreciation of her called Bye Bye Beauty. And I refer to her at the beginning of it as the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, my mama. I mean, just incredible beauty. So, my mommy.
That is my answer to this question too, is my mother. But I also have a very specific memory that I attach to that. Like I actually do remember a moment. I've talked about it before on the show. She had a traffic ticket and she was going to traffic court.
Wow. And that's
very
your memory
specific.
of her moment? Wow.
I do remember being very young and looking up at her and just thinking, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Not everybody has those specific memories, but when you talk about your mother being beautiful, is there a look? Is there a moment, an outfit?
So here it is. So this is the picture that I actually used in the piece.
Okay.
I don't know. How does this work?
No, it doesn't.
Can you see
Actually,
it?
can you scoot it back? Okay, right there. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Can you see
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
That was like they were camping or something.
They're camping and she looks
They
that
were
good.
camping and she looks like that. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, listen, I could. So just so you know, the history of my mommy.
Yeah.
My mother was discovered by the silent film star Norma Shearer. My mother was born Jeanette Helen Morrison from Merced, California, impoverished parents. My grandfather was like a night manager at a motel where he, was the front office manager at a ski motel, like a ski lodge. When Norma Shearer, who was married to a professional skier named Marty Eroge, and when they were checking out or leaving the hotel, my grandfather had a photograph of his daughter, my mother, on his desk, and it was this picture. And he said, Norma Shearer said to my grandfather, Fred Morrison, said, "Oh, she's lovely. Who's that?" And he said, "That's my daughter, Jeanette." And she said, "May I have that picture? I would like to send it to Lou Wasserman, who ran MCA in Hollywood."
Wow.
And
wow.
she took it back to California, and they called my mother, and my mother flew for the first time in her life down to Los Angeles, and she screen tested opposite an actor at the time was named Van Johnson.
No
who today
way.
And got the lead in a movie, and my mother became Janet Leigh.
That is wild. I did not know that
because
story.
of that photograph.
She really was just discovered out of the ether.
Totally discovered by Norma Shearer.
Wow.
So there would be no way I would ever be sitting here in a fake TV station with you. Very happy, by the way, to be here with you. But I'm just saying I would never be sitting in a fake TV station with you talking about memories were it not for that moment happening.
And it was, you said Jeanette? Were you just like
my
being
mother's
playful?
name was
Jeanette?
Jeanette.
Oh, and then they changed it.
Jeanne. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course they changed it.
Well, Jeanette's not that complicated to say.
My mother was Jeanette Helen Morrison, and they made her Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
And my father was Bernard Schwartz, and they made him Tony Curtis.
Yeah. Heard of him.
Yeah, me too.
Did her beauty have an impact on you otherwise, besides just admiration?
Well, that's a hard sort of example to have growing up when you don't feel beautiful. You feel kind of cute at best. So sure.
But did she wear it lightly? She didn't.
She was naturally beautiful. My God, she was just gorgeous. And she was just a beautiful person. And she was a loving person and cheerful and very lucky and sort of shocked that she got to have this life that she got to have.
But she understood that it was not her everything, her looks.
Oh, no. Women particularly in that generation, your looks were everything. When you were an ingenue, you were an ingenue, and then a leading lady. I think I think it would have been harder for her to become a character actress, which is really the three. There's your three. You with the three cards. Right. You're an ingenue, you're a leading lady, then you're a character actress.
Right.
And I've gotten to be all three, weirdly enough, even though I never was truly an ingenue and not really truly a leading lady, but I've become again, bitch of a character actress. Because the truth is I was a character actress all along.
Yeah.
Is the truth.
Yeah.
Is the truth.
Yeah.
They just didn't know it.
Okay.
You don't even have to hold the three up. Just pick up the middle one.
You want the two. You want the two.
It's always going to be two. I'm just going to tell you right now.
It's so interesting, the people who choose to do that. You and Ann Patchett, by the way.
Well, Ann Patchett don't even start with me. How about her? How about Parnassus Books?
How about it? I love her.
How about Parnassus Books? Come on.
Okay, two. What's something you took away from your first job? A lesson?
Nothing.
Or maybe you stole something. I don't know. You can interpret
No,
it.
my first job was two lines on Quincy, an episode of Quincy.
The doctor?
M.E.
The doctor thing?
The doctor.
Yeah.
He wasn't a doctor. He was an M.E., so he was a medical exam. He was a
that's
coroner.
right. That's right.
Yes.
What was that actor's name?
On Quincy M.E.?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh, shit.
Now I'm having a senior moment live on television.
I can picture his face and I can't conjure his name.
That's crazy.
No.
Who played Quincy?
Quincy.
Not Jack Klugman.
Oh,
no.
Jack Klugman. My producer just acted. Jack Klugman.
Oh, look at me. Say Jack Klugman.
You got it.
Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
So you had two lines? I mean,
I did.
Were you?
I was a woman in a dressing room.
Uh-huh.
And he comes looking for somebody, and he comes into the dressing room and pulls the curtain, and I am standing there in a bra.
Uh-huh.
Natch. And he says, I look shocked, and he apologizes. And I think my first line was, you won't find what you're looking for here, mister. And then he goes out of the thing, and then he talks to somebody else, and then the end of the scene is me walking out saying, you should be locked up or something. Okay. Like I'm snarky with him and then whatever. Uh-huh. So I don't think I took anything except a career.
Well, it worked. You delivered your two lines. Was there any part of you? Anyone's first job is a little nerve-wracking. Like you're showing up, you don't know. No, you were not racked by nerves.
Not at all.
Tell me why.
None of that scares me. None of that scares me. You could put me in front of 20 million people live. It would not scare me.
But you dropped out of college, right? To become an
I can't
actor.
spell college. I mean, I know there are two L's. And I think they're together.
But you took a big risk. Were you just that imbued with self-confidence that you're like, it's going to be fine?
No. I just was never going to be an actor. And someone who was a tennis teacher, a man named Chuck Binder, said to me, hey, I was home from college at Christmas, my freshman year. And he said, hey, they're looking for Nancy Drew. I manage actors now, by the way. And he said, they're looking for Nancy Drew. You could be Nancy Drew. You should go up for it. And I said, sure. And I went up for it, didn't get it. But I ended up staying in L.A. for a month and ended up signing a 7-year contract at Universal.
So you had the contract in your pocket. So you sort of didn't care about the first job. You're like, I know I'm going to.
Well, I didn't. No, I mean, a contract in the pocket. I just was so shocked that I had a job and then that I had lines on a TV show. I never thought I'd be an actress, ever in a million years. I thought I'd be a police officer. That was my intention.
Because you just needed something that was so different from your parents.
No.
No, that wasn't it either?
Oh, it had nothing to do with that at all. No, I just didn't know what I would do. I wasn't very smart, or I didn't think I was very smart. The school delivery system didn't work for me. And I thought, I'm good with people. I like law and order. I like following rules. I'm a good girl. I thought I would make a great cop. I love public service. I love bravery. So I thought I'd be corrections officer, social worker, police officer.
It's just such a wildly different career path. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, sort of bonkers.
Yeah. But by the way, career apparently has 2 R's. Am I correct?
Well, now
Right?
you're
Career.
freaking me out. Yes, but they are separated.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Career. That's 2 R's.
Oh, there are 2 E's.
There's 2
I'm
E's.
just- Oh, there's 2 E's. See, I knew there were 2 of
And
something.
2 R's. They're just not
No, you know what?
consecutive. I think you found
Antibiotic.
the perfect
Antibiotics, Velcro, and spell check are my 3 favorite inventions. And the bandolier, which is the phone case that allows you to carry your phone.
Yeah, it's handy.
You know.
And antibiotics. Very handy, yes.
Yes. Antibiotics, Velcro, the bandolier, and spell check.
You want to talk about your movie?
Here's what I will say to you.
Ella McCay.
I've been an actress since I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
I have obviously done all sorts of things. I sold everything from Hertz Rent-A-Car. I did commercials with O.J. Simpson and Arnold Palmer, running through airports, jumping over suitcases. As the female business executive, I sold Legs Pantyhose. I sold Equal Sweetener. I sold cell phones, a cell phone service called VoiceStream Wireless, which became T-Mobile. And they fired me and hired Shakira because she is more relatable than I am. Anyway,
Okay.
truth, just truth.
Yeah.
And then I, for many years, sold Activia yogurt,
Yeah.
which is a probiotic yogurt that helps you poop.
Activia. Yeah.
Yeah, that I did those commercials. So I've done a lot of things in my life.
Right.
I have waited my whole life for James L. Brooks, who directed Terms of Endearment, As Good as It Gets, Broadcast News. I have waited my whole life to have a letter come to my house that said, Jamie, I've been working on this script for years. We start shooting in the fall. I would love it if you would play Helen. I direct better than I handwrite, Jim.
Wow.
I've
If
waited my whole
that name was
life.
the difference for you. Yeah.
Waited
Truly?
my whole life.
Wow.
I've waited my whole life for opportunities.
Yeah.
Now, I've now had in the last 8 years the kind of opportunities that I always hoped I would be able to have, but that I don't control that whether they come or not. And the universe, the multiverse, excuse the pun, brought them to me. And I've waited my whole life. So James L. Brooks is the kind of film director and writer that makes the kind of movies that I love.
Yeah.
They're smart, they're funny, they're relatable, and they're political.
Yeah.
And they say something about us as human beings and how we think and feel. And at this moment in our collective consciousness as a country and a world where it feels very fractious, to have a movie like Ella McCay come along, which is a movie about this idealistic, beautiful, young
Yeah,
politician.
we need to do a little plot. Yes, she's a young politician.
So she's a young
she
politician.
gets to be the governor.
And she becomes governor because the current governor gets a position in the current political, federal administration.
Beautifully played
in the
by
cabinet.
Albert Brooks. Yes.
Albert Brooks plays the governor, and Ella McCay becomes governor. And she comes from a very complicated family, as we all do.
Indeed.
And she is married in a complicated relationship, like many people. And she's conflicted. And it's beautifully portrayed by Emma Mackey.
Yeah.
And I get to play her Aunt Helen. Her Aunt Helen, her mom has passed, and her Aunt Helen is that person in her corner that always tells her the truth and loves her unconditionally. Jim Brooks writes women in a way that really no one else does. And
Yeah.
I get to be in a movie that I've waited my whole life and career for, which is Ella McCay. And it's been really fun.
There's a line that stuck
Really
with
fun.
me from the movie, and I don't remember it. So it stuck with me, but I can't
Well, there
quote
you
it
go.
directly.
It's okay.
But it
You
was
know what?
about...
I didn't know there were 2 E's in career.
There you go.
I would have sworn there were 2 R's. So the fact that you can't remember the
We're
quote.
even.
What's the quote? I'll tell you what the line is.
It's near the end, and it's about the idea of forgiveness. And maybe it wasn't a line, it was an exchange. But the notion there is that it is not incumbent upon us to always grant or give forgiveness when it is asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was handled so well. It was beautifully put. And it's not a message you get a lot in like heartwarming, lovely movies that come out around the holidays. Don't usually have a slightly complicated, more realistic morality to them. And I loved that. That just because someone...
But that's James L. Brooks.
Yeah.
That's James L. Brooks. That's what he does. Complicated morality, complicated family dynamics. And what you're talking about is a lifelong relationship that Ella has with her douchey father.
Played by Woody Harrelson, God bless.
But and played by him brilliantly because he is a flawed man.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're talking about is when you are in relationship with those people who you realize are genuinely not interested really in the truth, but are interested in continuing a fantasy, you can choose yourself over them.
Yeah.
And you can move on.
Yeah.
I'm in recovery for a very long time, and we have a phrase which is, clear away the wreckage of your past. Clear it away. It doesn't mean disappear.
That's right.
The wreckage of it's clear it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an obstacle in your path. Move it out of your way. Just move it out of the way.
It's still there.
That
It's gonna
doesn't
be there.
mean
Yeah.
it won't always be there, but it allows you to move forward, which is in any sort of recovery. How can you move forward as a human being if you're just trapped by the boulders of life on life's terms, blocking your way?
But what
whatever
a
it is.
liberating idea. I've actually never heard that. What a liberating idea, so that you are not responsible for making the boulder disappear, because that feels overwhelming and impossible. But sometimes
you can't.
But you just and you can't. But you can just nudge
Clear it away.
Yeah.
Well, and you clear it away with your own examination of yourself. And I'm not, this isn't like an analysis of recovery. It's just a process of moving forward in life in whatever it is that is the obstacle in your life. And in Ella McCay's case, it happens to be her douchey father, who is kind of blocking her, trying to block her, and has continually done so.
Okay, so we're going to get back into the game. You ready?
Number 2, don't even pull 3. Don't pull 3. Just put the first 2.
Fine. Number
just pull
2.
it.
Number 2.
There you go.
When do you feel most like an outsider?
I am an emotional. I am not an intellectual. I can spell intellectual. I think they're 2 L's. And I think they may be near each other, but I'm not sure.
Are you sure you like that, defining the binary that way? Okay, I'll let you.
It's really important to me because that doesn't mean I'm not smart. That just means I'm not an intellectual. I'm not a wonk. Here's an example. I was in a book group.
Mm-hmm.
A woman named Julie Robinson used to run, probably still does, a book group. She would hire a professor, and his name was Lynn Batten, a retired UCLA professor. And I contacted Lynn Batten and privately hired him to do a similar idea. My point is, we read Hemingway, and I was so excited about reading Hemingway because I hadn't read Hemingway, and I was very excited. And I don't remember if it was The Sun Also Rises or For Whom the Bell Tolls, but it was one of the earlier books that we read, and there was bullfighting in it. And I remember when we started the group, that Zoom, I said, since it was my kind of putting this whole thing together, I said, I don't know about everybody else, but I really struggled with these characters, this book.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I wanted to like it so much. It was Hemingway, and I really wanted to like it. And, I love John Steinbeck and blah, blah, blah. And I was disappointed how much I didn't like these people. And Lynn Batten said, I need to put it in context for you. He said, this was right after World War I. And he said, you've probably heard the term shell-shocked, which is what happened.
PTSD,
Today we call it PTSD. He said, then it was called shell shock. And really what they were scrambled people. And it made me cry. And I felt so bad that I had judged these people in a way that hadn't understood the context of what they had been through. So, of course, they were sort of selfish and narcissistic and gluttonous and, and that's the difference to me about being an emotional versus being an intellectual. And so when I am in a group of intellectuals, I feel very uncomfortable because I don't have the context. I need the context in order to really absorb. And
but it was your emotional intelligence that unlocked that secondary meaning.
And all of that is great. But the question was, when do you
feel most like an outsider? Yeah.
And the outsider world for me has always been, which is why school didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because the delivery system didn't work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I've learned how I learn. I am a late bloomer. As Jane Fonda said, and I just got a humanitarian award from her, and she said, you're just like me, you're a late bloomer, but the only thing about being a late bloomer is you don't want to miss the flower show. And I'm having the flower show.
Yeah.
Like I'm living the flower show.
You are.
James L. Brooks wrote me a letter and said, will you play Helen? I'm living the flower show. See, pick the middle.
For sharing that.
Oh, so that's one. That's two. That's three.
There's three.
Take the two.
You really want this one. Boom. Number
always.
2. Okay. I like your consistency. What has age taught you about love?
Age taught me about love. I've been married for a long time. Chris and I did an interview with Marlo Thomas and Phil
Donahue.
for a book that they wrote about long marriage, and they interviewed all sorts of people, all sorts of couplings.
So this is Phil Donahue, who has since passed. I mean, this is a long time ago when you did.
8 years ago or whatever.
Oh, he hasn't been gone that long. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, this is 8 years ago.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Don't make me ask Siri anything because I find her to be a little bitch, to be perfectly honest. And, I also think she may have some substance abuse problems.
Siri,
but, it's like we're not allowed to talk about it. It's self-diagnosed. You know what I mean?
Okay, he died in 2024. producers.
Okay, so
Anyway,
see?
this was about 8 years ago.
So-
You were
and
talking to
by
Phil
the way,
Donahue.
I don't have a producer. I don't have someone sitting here telling me.
I wish I had a producer in my
truths.
actual life to just like walk through and like
I wish
answer
I
my
had one, too.
questions in a way that's not bitchy Siri. Yes, that's basically what a producer is.
So
Okay, anyway,
Phil and Marlo
Yes.
came to our house and interviewed my husband and I about our long marriage. And they asked what the secret was.
Yeah.
Now, my snarky answer to that secret
Yeah.
is don't leave.
Right.
You know, what's the secret to a long marriage?
That's
don't
not
leave
snarky.
it. Yeah, it is. It's smart alecky. Anyway, and they said, what's the secret?
Yeah. You said don't
And,
go.
well, I said the snarky answer is don't leave.
Mm-hmm.
The unexpected answer is have two ideas at the same time, be able to hate them and love them at the same time. Hatred,
Strong.
anger, disappointment exists in relationships. And love is big, and love has to be able to contain all of it. And I think what happens is when people feel really angry and hatred toward the other person, they're like, oh, I got to get out of this. And the truth is you don't. Because by nature, human beings are going to be angry at each other and disappointed in each other. And if you grow as a human being in a long marriage, you know, you're going to evolve and have all sorts of new discoveries about yourself, about them, about life. And they may line up and they may not. It may push you apart. It may pull you together. Whatever it is, if you can hold space for both things, both are going to come.
Yeah.
You know, they're both going to come for you. So I said that, and then they both kind of looked like, but they looked at me kind of shockingly. And I said, what? I'm the first person that said the word hate in your book? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. That's where the truth comes in because, you know, it's the truth of the whole thing. So I love my husband. I believe he loves me. And we have made room to be disappointed in each other. And
is hatred just the most extreme version? And so that's the word because it indicates the opposite pole.
Yeah,
or
it's just love and hate, right? It's just impossible,
right.
I think to coexist with another human without for 40 years without a little hatred popping in once in a while, and at the same time, great love and respect and humor and laughter. I mean, but you have to be able to examine it, and so. A lot of my life has been spent trying to examine the things we're not supposed to really examine and question it.
Yeah.
And it gets you into trouble.
I know.
And
yeah.
And it's the key to the freedom because the whole goal here is freedom. Freedom of mind, freedom of will, freedom of love, freedom of politics, freedom of ideas. John Steinbeck talks about it, that's the most important thing to protect. Oh, just don't even move. Don't even move right now.
What's happening?
Don't even move right now. Don't move.
I'm literally frozen.
Don't move. Don't move. Don't move.
Am I blink?
And this I believe, that the free exploring mind of the individual human is the most valuable thing in the world, and this I would fight for, the freedom of the mind to take any direction it wishes undirected, and this I must fight against, any idea, religion, or government which limits or destroys the individual. This is what I am, and this is what I'm about. John Steinbeck, East of Eden. I read that and my mind exploded because I thought, well, there it is. I've been waiting my whole life for the directions, you know,
right?
Like the directions.
Yeah.
There they are. This is what I believe. Freedom. And so I read that and I was like, yes, Queen. Like, yes, waiting for this my whole life. Now I know what to do. Now I know what to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, John Steinbeck.
Yeah.
East of Eden. Great book.
Last round.
Wow, the red round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the middle of the road, right there.
Middle.
Pull
Number
it.
2. Oh, this is a big one, but well, I'll stop talking about it. What does it mean to live a good life?
Oof. Well, it's a big one because it means, most importantly, that you live a life trying to leave the world better than when you were in it. If life is a life form and you come up in the world and you create a humanness and you end up in a job and then you end up in a family and you end up doing your thing and then you go, the hope has to be that what you were able to do with that moment in your life, whatever it be, small scale, macro, micro, doesn't matter, is that it had an impact on other people and that you made the world. So I write books for children. They're my best thing. They are the best distillation of who I am, what I think, how I feel. A book that I wrote about competition is called Is There Really a Human Race? And it was a question my youngest daughter, Ruby, asked me one day when she came home from school. She was about 5, and she got out of the car, and she kind of ran over to me, and she had this look in her face, and her eyes were welling up with tears, and she was really agitated. And she ran up to me, and she went, "Is there really a human race?" And I realized that it's everywhere for children. Better, better, best.
Yeah.
Great, great, great.
That's right.
People.
She was in a race. She didn't even know about it. She hadn't been training. She doesn't know how to win.
Skills.
Yep.
Some kids know how to write. Some kids
Yeah.
don't. Some know how to decode words. Some don't. Everything is immediately layered in an order. There's a rank ordering immediately about things. You get gold stars. It's everything is this acquisition of some upward climb.
Right.
And I wrote a book about using the metaphor of a race. But at the end, the child really gets upset as Ruby was with me that day. And the image in this child's head is that all of this racing, why are we racing? What are we winning? Does all of my running keep the world spinning? Like, am I the perpetual motion by which life exists? And can I stop ever and just be okay not winning?
Right.
And, we're in a country of winners, 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 winners. And it's a real panic moment for this child. And then after that moment in the book, the mommy, because there's this great moment where this child's looking at the mommy like, what the? And the mommy says this to the child, and this is my answer to your question. The mommy says, sometimes it's better not to go fast. They're beautiful sights to be seen when you're last. Shouldn't it be that you just try your best, and that's more important than beating the rest? Shouldn't it be looking back at the end that you judge your own race by the help that you lend? So take what's inside you and make big, bold choices. And for those who can't speak for themselves, use bold voices and make friends and love well and bring art to this place and make the world better for the whole human race. That is my answer. That is my answer to your question. That is my answer. That's what we're supposed to do. That's my answer.
That's a good one.
And that came out of my daughter asking me that question and making me think about it.
Yeah.
Are you competitive? Or do you like to win? Yeah, I fucking like to win. Like I
Right.
checked Box Office Mojo while Freakier Friday was on its thing because I wanted to get that fucker to $100. And we got to 94.6, and I'm still pissed. I want to
know.
be like Trump. I want to say, can't we find, $6 million in revenues to get us to $100? Because I'm competitive. I wanted, because that group effort, I wanted it so much for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it did great, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
competitive.
Well, I got to go buy the damn book because that's really good.
The middle one.
The middle? You want the middle for a change?
I want the middle one, number 2.
Number 2.
Just that one.
What do you look forward to when you're older?
Getting older.
Yeah.
Even thinner skin, because the thin skin thing is super fun. So I would say what I'm looking forward to is my skin getting even thinner than it is,
Yeah.
because that'll just be fun.
And I can imagine, a lot of people think about age and you get older and you care less and less about what people think. But I feel like you've already you did that 30, 40 years ago.
I've been doing that my whole life. And by the way, that's a total lie. And apparently I'm on the radio, even though I'm not, even though I'm on a television show.
What do you mean it's a lie?
It's a lie if I don't care. When I look in the mirror, I am looking at the problem. I'm looking at the solution. I can't filter the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
The deep Elvis Costello writes, is a great singer-songwriter, and he has a song called "The Deep, Dark, Truthful Mirror." And the deep, dark, truthful mirror is coming for all of us. Mm-hmm. And we can pretend it isn't, and we can cosmeceutically, industrial complex blow it out somehow, either through surgery or stuff. And, we can alter reality all we want. We can take a photograph. I mean, I've been geschreien, Yiddish word, about this for a long time. I've been talking about this since 2001 when I did the cover of More magazine in my underwear, where I posed in my underwear and said to everybody, "This is what I look like in my underwear. This is what I look like."
Yeah, just your body.
No, but that was photoshopping. Remember, photoshopping is like your 8-track.
Right. I know, totally.
The word Photoshop
it's
is like an 8-track reel to reel.
Right.
It's now AI altered, face tuning, whatever the it is.
Yeah.
But my point is simply, you can't hide the truth. You can think you can. We can be fed this bullshit that you can hide the truth. You can't hide the truth. We are who we are. And that's what I have tried to, when I say I don't care about hiding the truth anymore.
Yeah.
I am trying with every fiber of my being to live what John Steinbeck said. I must fight against any idea, religion, or government which limits or destroys the individual. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm for. That's what he says. That's what I'm for. That's what I'm for. That's what I am for. And if that means then pulling the Band-Aid off of some stuff, or asking harder questions, or having two ideas at the same time, loving something and hating something at the same time, whatever it is, if that's ultimately what I get to represent in this lifetime, then I will feel it was a life well lived.
We end the show the same way every time. I didn't mean to point at you.
Oh no,
it
you.
seems so aggressive.
I'm a finger wagger. No, I'm a finger wagger.
This doesn't. Okay.
I'm a big hand actor. By the way, if you ever watch my movies, I'm big hand actor.
Oh my God!
I
Do you
do a
know
lot.
that Jeff Goldblum? When I interviewed him, he told me I could be a hand model. Do you think?
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? I think he has a hand thing. Because when I first met him,
This makes sense now.
I met him on a movie that he did with my husband called Beyond Therapy. In Paris for Robert Altman, and he complimented me on my hands and my short nails that I had. I'm telling you, Jeff Goldblum, when I first met him, said, "You have lovely hands, and I love the way your nails are."
Oh
Maybe
my
he has
God.
a hand thing.
I think
And he's a terrific guy.
he's a terrific guy.
And-
It was a lovely conversation.
Yes.
Okay, we end the show the
Okay.
same way every time with a trip in our memory time machine. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
You revisit one moment from your past. It's not a moment you want to change anything about. It's just a moment you'd like to linger in a little longer. What moment
Got
do
it.
you choose? You can't choose number 2. You have
but
it.
The minute you said one moment,
Really?
I'll tell you what it was. I was 12 years old. My sister Kelly and I went to visit Tony Curtis, who we barely knew,
Your dad. Yeah.
in London. He had gotten married to his third wife. He had just had a baby boy with her. So the baby boy was 6 months old.
Wow.
My now past brother Nicholas, and Tony Curtis rented a house in Sardinia. And the day we arrived in Sardinia, the luggage hadn't arrived yet. And it was on the water, but it was a craggy cliff kind of situation. I mean, it was on the water, but it wasn't like a beach.
Yeah. Rocky.
And I remember Tony Curtis said, I'm going to go for a swim. Does anybody else want to? And I, shot my hand up and said, yes, I will. And so I was 12, and I went down this path with him. And, he took off his clothes and was wearing his white tighty whities, which were men. And I took off my, shorts and T-shirt, or kept my T-shirt, my undies on. And we both dove in from this little rock crag spot into some beautiful water off the coast of Sardinia. And what I remember so clearly, because, my parents divorced and it was acrimonious and awful. Tony married a 17-year-old girl from Germany, left my mother who was in her 30s. Tony had run off with this actress that he had made a movie with and broke, the family apart, blah, 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 blah. And I really didn't spend much time with him. And that moment in the water where I was the brave one, like I said, yeah, I'll go dive in the water with you. Yeah. And the pride on his face that I was the brave one that was going to dive in the water in my underwear and T-shirt, no towel. I'll never forget that moment. That was, I felt like, and he had, at that time, 5 children. He ended up with 6. As I said, my brother, Nick, died. But I felt his pride. Yeah. I felt connected to a guy who was magic. He was Tony Curtis, but he was elusive because he was a guy who disappeared. Yeah. And I just remember that singular moment where in that moment, I was the only one in the world he had his eyes on and pride in me. And it's like I remember that moment so clearly, being 12, swimming in the water with Tony Curtis in Sardinia.
Jamie Lee Curtis, it's been such a lovely thing to be in conversation.
It has been lovely.
With you. Yeah,
you
too.
I
really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, as you know.
You can see Jamie Lee Curtis in the new movie Ella McCay, which is out December 12th. Jamie, thank you so much.
Thanks for playing the game and for inventing it and for having such a beautiful smile.
Thank you, lady. So one of the questions I keep thinking about from that conversation, what has age taught you about love? And I would love to know your answers to that question. Put your answers in the comments. And while you're there, like and subscribe to the show. Thank you so much.